Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Yokley and Tommy Peas. Welcome to the Breakfast Burrito. The first edition, we're excited. We had some technical difficulties getting started, but we're here now, everybody. Behind me, the man cave in the Yokley house. Behind Mr. Peas, what is it, TCP Flooring, right?
TCP Flooring, yeah. Live on the leather couch.
Live on the leather couch, baby. Hey, we're happy to be here. It's been a heck of a freaking week. For YSN, we've had so much content on our website, ysnlive.com. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. We had the Buck Bailey on Saturday. We had lots of basketball on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, you name it, and we got more coming this way. Tommy, you had Wellsville and Liverpool. You were actually in the announcer for that game, and it didn't go the way of the Potters. Kind of what happened with Liverpool, man? They were on fire, and then now they're kind of a streaky team.
The game flow just didn't really go the way I think East Liverpool needed it to go. Roach picked up 2 fouls early in the game. And then one of the biggest things is the point guard, Trayshawn Jackson, who missed Friday's game at Steubenville, also missed Saturday's game against Wellsville with flu A. So it was an uphill battle for the Potters. Came out a little flat, and then early foul trouble for Roach, who had 31 points the night before against Steubenville. I think he ended the night with 2 or 4 points against Wellsville. So Wellsville came into the field house and played good defense, made a lot of shots. They're strong, physical, and Potters just couldn't hang. So it was a rough night for East Liverpool. Yeah,
it seems to be one of those scenarios where it looks like Wellsville is really hitting their stride. Obviously, they're a YSN school too, so we've been following them with the Reiner brothers, and they're really starting to come together and hit their stride. So it's exciting to see kind of the tale of the two teams down there, and I think the Potters have a lot left in the tank. I really do. I think they're just going through some stuff right now, like the flu.
Yeah, the flu A with Trayshawn, and the Potters are young. I mean, you start 3 sophomores, a junior, and a senior, sometimes 4 sophomores and a junior. It just depends on what lineup the coaches throw out there that night. But they're super young, and but they're talented. And getting Trayshawn back hopefully tonight. We got a game against Edison at the field house. It's a makeup game from all that crazy weather that we had there in the beginning of July. So they're back in action tonight. Should be a good night to get back to form, get their feet back under them, and pick up a W. But it was a tough night on Saturday night, losing to Wellsville. They're a rival, so it makes it hard. Makes it hard as a Potter fan, Potter homer like I am. So
and you'll have that call tonight, right?
But I did get that. But I will have the call. Me and Anson are back tonight together. And but like you said, I did do the PA announcing. And if you've a few times when Bob Kelly always says, all you Potter fans off your seat and on your feet. So I've always wanted to do that probably since I was like 7 years old. So it was, I got to live a dream and had a good time with it. So
that a boy, man, it's all about.
Just came out on the wrong end of the win-losses. That's all.
But, well, they're going to put it on you. You know that, right?
That's what Coach Conley said. He said, you're never doing that again. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
No, it's going to be. I see a really, really strong tournament for a lot of the teams here, not only on YSN but here in the Valley and in the region. We got some good basketball players. We got some good basketball programs, and one of the things that we looked at whenever we started doing the live broadcast of the games was, can we bring the excitement back to the basketball realm? I mean, at Liverpool, I think you guys have always had it. You have the beautiful field house that you've showed me multiple times, but I think in the surrounding school districts, it's kind of gotten away. I mean, obviously football's king here in Northeast Ohio. It probably always will be. But basketball used to have its place. You know what I mean? And I think that we're starting to get back there. There's a lot of excitement building around these basketball programs, especially here as we head towards the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you for sure. I mean, I know you cover South Range, and their basketball program is elite. I mean, that game you had, last weekend with LeBray game. I mean, my goodness, that place was rocking. So, that's an elite basketball program, and you have the privilege of covering them. And then the Potters, they in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, they were, elite. I mean, they had elite talent as well. So, and we're trying to get back there. I mean, we're trying to work with younger programs, trying to build, kind of like the culture back up to where we can get back on that level. Maybe make another trip to the Final Four or deep into the state playoffs. So, but it takes time.
It does,
for sure.
And that's kind of where, I mean, you talk about teams that are really, I mean, the South Range, they really build it up. But, credit to Coach Cullen, credit to Donnie Farron, the athletic director over there at South Range, because they've built from the ground up. And Coach Cullen, emphasizes free throws, emphasizes defense, all the things that make up a good foundation of a basketball team. And that's where they're at. I mean, they've had the good fortune of some great players coming through the program. They have Mike Cunningham now, Jackson Anderson, Brady White, you name it. I mean, they're built for a tournament, and for them, they don't have a conference, and essentially what they can do is everything is built towards, hey, this makes us better down the road in the tournament. So everything is built around putting a banner on the wall based on where they finish in the tournament. But then you have teams like Crestview, which, traditional, really, really good programs in basketball when I was in high school, decades ago, it feels like. But, I mean, you have Coach Wilson there now, who in his first year at Crestview, he's had to battle some adversity, but he's been able to push through. And it's been really cool to see, what he's been able to do. He's got some signature wins already under his belt. And yeah, you're going to say they're few and far between. But at the end of the day, if you get a few wins and you build that program, build excitement around that program, kids come in the next year and, you do things the right way, almost like breaking down the house and building a new. That's what they're doing over at Crestview. And it sounds like that's kind of what they're doing over at Liverpool as well.
Yeah, it's about, Coach Collins in his 8th or 9th season. I think it's his 8th season, but it's all about consistency. And, one of the problems you see in today's, at least in the high school world, in football and basketball mainly, because, those are your two moneymaker sports in the high school level. They're going to bring in the most tickets. But what you see is a lot of turnover quickly. And, if somebody has a couple losing seasons, they want to get rid of them. If you got a good program coach in there, you got to let them go. You got to let them run with the program, because it does take time. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. You can't give somebody 2 or 3 years and then say, oh, you're out of here. You know what I mean? Because then you're starting from scratch again. You're starting to build a program over again. And you see South Range, for example, I mean, how long has their head basketball coach been there?
Yeah, I think he's been there about 5 or 6 years. So
5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So, and he's built a program. He's starting to build a program. And, I think that's something that some of these schools, they got to ride the wave. You got to get a coach in there who's going to, is a program coach and is going to stick with it. And you're going to see success in the long run if that happens. So,
what I got to tell you, I mean, I had the honor of actually announcing the Columbiana game on Friday. I was really excited. Got our boy Tyler all set up at Leetonia. He had a great call of the Leetonia-Lisbon game. Sweeney went off for the Blue Devils, so it was good to see the continuation of what the Blue Devils are doing with their programs. Leetonia really pushing that next level. I had a chance to talk to Ed Ridgway, their athletic director. He's really excited about what things are to come for Leetonia, and they've got some building blocks too. They've got some stuff in place that's going to be really impressive in the years to come. But I had the chance to go to, like I said, go to Columbiana and take in their take in their basketball program for the first time probably since high school. And their boys basketball program. The girls are doing amazing. Their boys are kind of battling through some adversity similar to Crestview. But Coach Johnson's got that program in the right direction. They played a very tough Toronto team. I mean, it seemed like every person for Toronto is a shooter and was able to make plays. Golzinski, Keenan is the captain, the senior over there. He had some really clutch plays. But every time you thought Columbiana was out of it, they came back with a force. And they're a pretty young team, for the exception of like Jared Wilson and a couple, I think 1 or 2 more seniors over there. The sophomores, juniors, they had a really standout effort from a couple of their really young kids, and they never gave up. And I think that's really important, not only to a program, but to a coaching staff, because from their perspective, no matter how many points you're down, I think they were down 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 maybe, I think, at one time. And Columbiana came right back and at one point took the lead. And it's just, I know they're playing on their home court, but at the same time, those are some signature games that don't necessarily, come out as wins, but you build your program around, because people get excited about, oh, okay, hey, what did we do against Toronto last time? What did we do, against this team? And then with that Eastern Ohio Athletic Conference that they have in place now, with Toronto on their way out, there's going to be more teams. Essentially, I guess the hope is, I would imagine, that more teams join that conference and build it up to be a perennial powerhouse, the same way the TCL, the ITCL, and the ICL, I guess, before they merged, were. So, I mean, similar to what you guys have going on down your way, with the conference that you've built, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's few and far between when teams, leave that conference when it comes to, Liverpool and playing teams like that. So it'll be interesting to see how the EOAC, expands and builds. But it's really exciting for teams like Columbiana to see that team, play in person and really understand how good and how talented they're going to be in the next couple of years.
All right, basketball is a game of runs, you know what I mean? So with a young team like that, being able to, like you said, being down 9, 11, 12, and then a young team, they might put their heads down and be done. But the battle back, that shows a lot. OVA, the Liverpool is in the BMAX conference, Edison, Indian Creek, Buckeye local, their Beaver locals in the BMAC, but also, too, the OVAC is, above all that. So I'd like to see, honestly, a better conference for East Liverpool to play in. If the OVAC conference and you just didn't, because we don't, all those teams, Buckeye, Indian Creek, and they're all in the OVAC, but the actual conference that we play in is the Buckeye Mountaineer Athletic Conference. I'd like to see go up north. I feel like there's better basketball up north. I mean, even my little boy plays fifth grade basketball. When we play down this way, okay, yeah, we're pretty good. But then we started going up north and playing these tournaments, Canfield, Boardman, Austintown, Poland. It's a different game. And I feel like it would be better for everybody if the North and the South could come together and create even a more super conference to say.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I think that it's one of those things where, obviously there's a lot when it comes to money involved and things of that nature and making sure that the schools get paid and the conferences get paid and things that are way above my pay grade of understanding at this point. But I think that obviously the better when that tournament down in East Liverpool, I mean, you saw some of the team, you saw East Palestine come down and they handled their own.
Right.
They got the doors blown off them by East Liverpool. But I mean, that was one of those games where it didn't matter who was in that gym. It could have been the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Potters were just lights out, man. They were shooting the lights out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had Jackson hit 10, 11 threes that night. I mean, I don't care. Like you said, it was the Cavaliers. It's going to be hard to overcome when you got somebody shooting like that from the outside. But if East Palestine and the Potters played again, it would definitely, be a different game unless, the shooting was talk about the 90% from 3-point land again. Yeah.
His adrenaline was going, man. I mean, you could see. I've never seen. I remember how excited you and Anson got, and I'm sitting over there like, is this how they play all the time? This is incredible. This kid is shooting lights out constantly.
There's been some exciting moments in that field house. There's something about it, that. It's just something special about basketball, East Liverpool. So
yeah, all right. So that's our look at local sports around the area, and obviously here on the Burrito, we want to make sure that you have your voice heard. So if you've got anything that you want to talk about locally, regionally, nationally, as we head into to our regional coverage of what we do here, hit us up with the hashtag Sports Burrito on YSN on Twitter, or hit us up on Facebook, or just give us a call. I mean, really, that boils down to it. Tell us what you want to talk about, because here at YSN, it is your sports network. So, Tommy, you want to talk about some regional coverage? The Steelers, the Browns, the Pens. I mean, all in absolute turmoil right now. The Steelers had a great regular season, and the postseason not so hot. So, I mean, we talked a little bit about it off the air, how they're going to be really stretching to get to. I mean, you hear Levy. Here's the thing. Let's stop it right there. The Steelers are like watching a daytime drama. It's like watching a really bad. It's like watching really bad romantic comedy. With what they're going through. I mean, if it's not Bryant, it's Ben. If it's not Ben, it's Brown. If it's not Brown, it's Bell. I mean, they talk about the killer bees. Are the killer bees killing the Steelers with all this drama that's going on?
I'm not a fan of the drama, but at the same time, their talent's unmatched. So I'm kind of, I'm a Steeler fan, big time Steeler fan, born and raised Steeler fan. So, I'll put up with the drama to a point. Now never was a fan of Todd Haley. Felt like, you watch ESPN and you hear people talk, say, oh, he had, 5 top 10 offenses in the time he was in Pittsburgh or whatever. But, me and you could go offensive coordinate the Pittsburgh Steelers and have a top 5 offense. Like the talent is unmatched. You got Bell and Brown, probably the best wide receiver running back combo in the NFL. So, I'm glad to see Todd Haley go. Something, there's definitely some hard feelings there because he jumped ship right over to Cleveland. So, it's kind of like a little, and then he left that parting gift about all the, the discipline issues with Mike Tomlin and Le'Veon Bell. And, he sent that into, who was it? The beat writer. And that made some mainstream news, but I think we're going to be okay. We just got to pay the man, and when I say pay the man, I'm talking about Le'Veon Bell, because not only is he an elite running back, and people say, oh, his yards per carry was down this year. I mean, the guy's getting 40 touches a game. He's basically a wide receiver and a running back. I mean, the catch he made against Jacksonville in the divisional playoff game was, something that 99% of the wide receivers in the NFL aren't going to make. So pay the man. Just pay him.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. You got to pay him, but at what cost? Because he wants big money. He's made rap videos and raps about how much he get paid by the Steelers. And here's the thing that's confusing to most Steeler fans and frustrating, I guess, is better. Not confusing. Everybody understands it. It's just frustrating.
Tim Hortons iced tea.
Yeah, boy.
Tim Hortons iced tea. Tell him.
Plug. They won.
Yeah.
But we hear Le'Veon talk about, oh yeah, it's going to be exciting for everybody. We've already begun the contract talks. And then you hear the next day or the day after that they haven't talked at all. So who do you believe? Do you believe the ESPN reporter or the beat reporter that did it? I believe it was ESPN. They came out that report yesterday, said they haven't even had conversations. Or do you believe Le'Veon Bell? Do you believe Lev and say, okay, he wants to make it work. He understands that there's a small window of opportunity to win here. And I don't know if you saw it at the end of that Jacksonville game, but with Le'Veon standing next to Ben, after that game was completed, they kind of hugged it out and said, hey guys, it looked like one of those moments like, hey, we'll be back. Just make sure that, you leave some space for some of these guys.
Todd Haley's gone.
Yeah, Todd Haley's gone. So let's talk about Todd Haley for a second. Todd Haley jumped ship essentially, and he wasn't helping at all when it came to lowering the dramatic, entrance of the locker room. That dude was He was just as bad. And I'm a huge Roethlisberger fan, have been since day one, because he's an Ohio guy. But I'll tell you this, Ben Roethlisberger, he's not going to date my sister, but he's going to be my favorite quarterback till the end of time. But
I agree.
I'll tell you what, he's dramatic. We all know it. We all know what to expect with Ben by this point. When he gets hit and knocked down, is he going to get up, or is it just Ben playing the dramatic card? Is he playing things up for his DVD video and when he goes to the Hall of Fame in Canton? But better tell you this, that guy, tough as nails, but at the end of the day, he and Todd Haley, make no mistake about it, and there's no lack of evidence behind this. Those two guys hated each other. They absolutely could not stand each other. You saw during this season, slow to get the play in, and you could see Haley frustrated with Ben. Read his lips 100 times over. I don't care if he said that he was yelling at another coach, the ball boy, the water boy. He was yelling at Ben Roethlisberger. That was 100% accurate. And they cover it up. It's a constant coverage. You know what I mean? And they just keep making up stories.
No, you're right.
And Tomlin's just as bad. And I think he got to the point where he's like, this isn't an us problem. This is a you problem. And you're creating it, in talking to the media, similar to like Donald Trump-esque. We're not, this isn't a real problem. This is a media problem. But it's not. When you have such things like the Martavis Bryant situation, when you have, Antonio Brown knocking over coolers on the sideline, when you have Ben who saying, oh, I might not have it left in me. I might be retired. This might be my last year. Come on. I mean, is that something that a Peyton Manning, or, I mean, I hate to even say this, a Tom Brady is going to do to his team? It put his team in that turmoil?
No. No, I mean, listen, I love Tom Brady. There's a lot of Tom Brady haters out there, and people hate him because he's a winner. I mean, the guy just wins, period. A deflated football doesn't matter. You still got to throw it. You still got to catch it. I mean, you might get a little better grip on it, but I'm a big Tom Brady guy. But as far as the Steelers go, they would, I think Haley being gone hopefully helps the drama. Hopefully they can sign Bell and everything else falls into place, because I really thought that this year was the year that they were going to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, because like we said earlier in the show, they're the most talented team in the NFL, hands down. They're, Antonio Brown. I mean, we haven't really talked about him singly, but he's the man. I mean, he's nails. I mean, he is just hands down nails. I mean, he had a torn calf and comes back out and lights up the number one pass defense in the NFL with Jalen Ramsey and Boye on the other side. Is that who's on the other side for Jacksonville?
Yep, Boye, yep.
I mean, he just lit them up. I mean, the guy is absolutely insane. So Ben's going to come back, which shows that he's drama-filled, because, he was talking about retirement last year and then, takes a clobbering in the AFC divisional game, but he's coming back because they got to know as a threesome, as a foursome, if you throw Bryant in there, if they get their heads right, if they get together and play good football and everybody stays injury free, they're pretty much unstoppable on offense. The defense is what we got to worry about in Pittsburgh.
And that's something that
Blake Bortles put up that many points on you. My goodness.
Did you ever think, as a fan, did you ever think that you would say that we'd have to worry about the defense in Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, I was worried about it going in. I mean, everybody thought, oh, they only put up 10 points against Buffalo. It's gonna be fine. Well, Ryan Shazier, losing Shazier in the middle of that defense was huge. I mean, huge for the NFL, bad for the Steelers, because put a big hole, in our defense, and you didn't see any big plays out of the linebackers in that divisional game, which really made me question getting rid of Harrison, sending him to New England, because you've seen what he did in New England's playoff game. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do on the defensive side, and as Haley the door, there was a lot of questions around, like, hey, we put up 49 points or 48 points in that game, whatever the total was. What about the defense? I mean, what do we do there? So hopefully, and make some off-season signings. I'd like to see Mitchell go. I feel like he's another drama queen on the defensive end. But we'll see. It's the off-season. Hopefully, we can sign out, get a few draft picks, sew up the defense, and give it another run this year, because it's. I mean, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick make it easy. Look easy to go to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl. It's not. It's hard.
Well, you want to talk about – I mean, we'll allude to this a little bit later, but you want to talk about windows closing. The Patriots' windows closing pretty quick. And, you talk about their, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator even, probably leaving the team after this year. And I think that there's a lot of turmoil in that locker room that they handle a hell of a lot better than Pittsburgh in moving forward. So we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about national news. But we talked a lot about the Steelers, obviously, because you and I, diehard Steeler fans. You can see Pittsburgh everywhere here. And there's my dog. Everywhere here, in my basement. But let's talk about Cleveland for a second. Man, that's just a dumpster fire. It's an absolute dumpster fire over there. The fans know it. The organization knows it. It's very similar to what the Pirates are facing in baseball. The fans are really starting to boycott the situation. They're really not happy with the product that's being placed on the field. You can say that you're trying your best. But when you go get a Deshaun Kaiser in the draft and Johnny Manziel, everybody wanted Johnny Manziel. That one I put on the fans more than I do the GM. That was more to appease the fans. But Cleveland, man, they're just – you go 0-16, you haven't won a game in almost 2 years. What do you do? Where do you start? And I say that just from a standpoint of in this draft, in this free agent market, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of building pieces that they could bring in. And similar to our high school basketball discussion, you got to start with that good foundation, and they're losing people left and right. So if you're the GM for Cleveland, where do you start? Free agency or the draft?
Well, first of all, no NFL team ever has missed on quarterbacks like the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I seen something on Twitter the other day, the list of quarterbacks for the Browns since the year 2000. I mean, there's more on there than there was in my graduating class at East Liverpool. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. If I'm the GM of the Browns, they got to get a quarterback. Kaiser's not the answer. We've seen that. But, Josh Gordon came back and looked like, the man beast that he was previous to his suspension. So I feel like you have to, and he's an elite wide receiver. I mean, he's on Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. He's on that level. Odell Beckham, he has that. He has that it factor. And so I feel like he has to stay in place. Hopefully he's got his life turned around. But if I'm the GM of the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to narrow it down to 2 quarterbacks, okay? And I'm going to pick one. And then when I go up there on draft day, I'm going to take the opposite one because apparently the one that they would pick is not going to be right. So that's what I would do. And I wouldn't take Baker Mayfield either because I feel like he's Johnny Manziel 2.0.
I'm with you on that one. All right, you ready for this? That list you talked about. We're going to go through it real quick. Tim Couch, Ty Detmer, Doug Peterson, then he went back to Tim Couch for some reason. Spurgeon Wynn, Tim Couch, Kelly Holcomb, Tim Couch, Jeff Garcia, Kelly Holcomb, Luke McCown, Trent Dilfer, Charlie Fry. Fry then started the season in 2006 and then gave it up to Derek Anderson. Then Derek Anderson started in 2007 and gave it back up to Charlie Fry. 2008 was a banner year for the Browns. Derek Anderson, Brady Quinn, Ken Dorsey, and Bruce Gradkowski all playing part in that 2008 season. Then you have in 2009, you have Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson fighting over the job. Then they go out and get Colt McCoy. And it's Colt McCoy, you got the Jake Delhomme story, Seneca Wallace. The next year it's between McCoy and Wallace. Then it gets even more interesting when you pick up Brandon Weeden and Thad Lewis. Right. So then you got those two. And in 13, they go Jason Campbell, which he was supposed to solve all the issues because I think he came over from Washington?
Washington, yeah.
And he was supposed to solve all the quarterbacking issues for Cleveland. And then they had to go back to Brandon Weeden. And then eventually, this is where they made a really good choice, but it ended up somehow backfiring when they got Brian Hoyer to start playing. And Hoyer was the guy who really carried the flag for them for a while, up until our buddy Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel, Mr. Johnny Football comes along. And then you want to talk about the picture of a dumpster fire in the dictionary. That is Johnny Manziel. And Cleveland, they rolled the dice on him. They sold a lot of tickets around him. They, built a PR program around him, a great marketing plan. But he stunk. I mean, there's no way around it.
He's an idiot. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Simple.
That guy, I mean, he was interesting. He was interesting.
He was special. Let's call him special. He was special.
But then it's that bad. This guy is so bad that you've got to turn it over to Connor Shaw, who I have no idea. I mean, if I wasn't reading him, I wouldn't know who the heck he was. And then you get Josh McCown. Okay. The next year you go into 15 with Josh McCown, back to Johnny Manziel, and then you go to Austin Davis for 2 games. And then hey, let's put all our chips. We're all in. We're the Cleveland Browns. We're all in. When you go with RG3 and he basically trips coming out of the tunnel and that's his end of his season. He played 5 games for the Browns. Then you go back to Josh McCown, and then Cody Kessler comes to the rescue for 8 games. And then there's 2017, this beautiful opportunity that the Cleveland Browns have. They have a great running game, but you can't run the ball if you're down by 30 in the first quarter because you have Deshaun Kaiser who started, it says 15 games here, and then Kevin Hogan. Kevin Hulkamania Hogan.
Oh, don't do that to the Hulkster. You can't do that to the can't put Kevin Hogan and Hulkamania together. That's because he wasn't running wild on anybody.
Well, he ran wild for one game apparently in Cleveland. So it's an incredible story. The Cleveland Browns. I like your concept of just, dude, putting two guys on paper, and whatever one you thought you were going to pick, just take the other guy and
pick
roll
the other one. Right now. Deshaun Watson this year for Houston. However, the Cleveland Browns passed on Deshaun Watson, FYI. So,
we can't even start to begin to talk about who they passed on. I mean,
the list is just.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about opportunities missed. Tim Couch. I mean, if they should just. I know they don't have logos on each side of the helmet, but if this organization just needs to put Tim Couch there as a constant reminder of what they did,
of what not to do.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's what they did, and they cost them basically 2 decades worth of terrible football. And
who was the other quarterback in the Tim Couch draft? That was,
I believe it was McNabb. I think McNabb, Culpepper. I mean, either one of those choices. I mean, you roll the dice on either one of those, and you have probably, I don't want to say a playoff team, but it changes the course of history. It really does. And if you talk to any of the
winning.
Browns fans,
You're winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at least gives something. Then you have your obviously a very, very loyal fan base. Because let's be realistic here, man. If they're, how the hell are you a Browns fan right now? I mean, I've seen people just like, that's it, I'm done with them. Well, that's it.
You just gotta live by the motto that there's always next year. You know what I mean? So,
man. Okay, so that's our regional coverage. We'll cover the Penguins a little bit more in depth tomorrow because they are on the All-Star break. So we want to make sure that, All-Star hockey is still hockey, but it's not really. It's kind of like the NBA All-Star game, and it's just a
no defense
exhibition. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's
defense.
It's absolutely terrible. It does nothing for the game. Doesn't benefit it at all. I mean, the Pro Bowl at least was 24 points. So there was a little bit of defense.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when I didn't watch the Pro Bowl yesterday, but when I, looked up the score, I was actually surprised it was such a low scoring Pro Bowl because normally defense is non-existent in the Pro Bowl as well. So it was
it was incredible.
Surprise.
But I mean, I don't want to, go back on the Steelers, but I was really surprised about how many Steelers were in that game. You know what I mean?
9. Wonder 9.
Yeah, that was incredible. Rosie Nix, good for him, right? He thought that the Steelers were going to cut him and ends up in a Pro Bowl. So good for that guy.
That's a good story.
He's a good story. Also, my guy Cam Hayward, former Buckeye. I mean, that's huge. He deserved everything. He deserved to be a first, picked at first, and he wasn't. So it worked out for him. But obviously, with a lot of those Steelers there, I mean, as a fan, it's cool, but that's not where you want them playing. You want them resting up.
I'd rather them not be there, right?
For the big
next
game.
Sunday.
So let's talk about
Super Bowl Sunday is my birthday, by the way.
Well, my birthday's the day after yours then, because my birthday's February 5th. So we have that in common.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we're both Aquarius.
Aquarius. All right.
So let's talk about
I liked you, DJ.
Let's talk about that big game. Obviously, we want to stay away from the trademark, but the big game that New England and Philadelphia will be playing in. Dude, for me, it's terrifying because for so long the Steelers have had the most rings. And here's Tom Brady coming up and saying, "Hey, he's got
knocking on the door."
Not taking all 6 himself. Let's put it this way. Let's start with this: if they win, are they the greatest franchise in, I guess, that big game era in the last 50 some years? 53 years. Do they really overtake the Steelers and say, hey, we're the best franchise over the last before the merger, I guess is the best way to put it.
I mean, in my opinion, they're already there. I mean, and that's coming from a Steeler fan. I mean, listen, the run that they've had since Brady and Belichick hooked up is just, I mean, it's unmatched. It's not going to happen in my lifetime or your lifetime ever again. I mean, it's just those two together. I mean, Brady's done it with, the list of quarterbacks that the Browns had, the list of receivers and running backs that's played under Tom Brady is about the same length. I mean, what he's done over his career has just been absolutely phenomenal, and he has done it with everybody. He's done it with elite wide receivers like Randy Moss, and he's done it with bottom of the barrel wide receivers. So it doesn't matter. He just gets it done. So if they win, I mean, it's no question that they're the greatest franchise, and probably in sports history, because it's a lot harder to do it in football than it is in any other sport. Maybe besides baseball. Baseball's tough. But
here's my take on it. I think that it boils down to, yes, they've done an outstanding job for as long as Tom Brady's been their quarterback. But what did they do the first 40 years? I mean, the Steelers have been, for all intents and purposes, they've been, pretty consistent, beyond when they were the Steagles and stuff like that. But, since 1970s, you talk about 4 Super Bowls there. You talk about 2 Super Bowls, in our generation.
Mm-hmm.
But consistently, the Steelers have pretty much been there. You talk about the AFC championships, and yes, we all know that they didn't win and they didn't go to the big game. But at the end of the day, they're winning. They're a winning team. You know what I mean? So
right.
I still stand with the Steelers being the best organization and best franchise in that era as an entirety. But I'm with you, man. I mean, you talk about, we're lucky enough to see a team like the Chicago Bulls in basketball, and you go through their dynasty, and then you have, I guess the Heat had a little bit of a dynasty if you consider that.
Yeah, that don't count.
Yeah, so if you consider it, some people do, some people don't, because it's not. I mean, the Lakers had Kobe with Shaq, and then without Shaq, had a great run. We've been really fortunate to see some of these great dynasties. And this Patriots one is just another, cherry on top of the old cake. So I think that it's really interesting to see what's going to happen here, because they did have that report come out saying that there is turmoil in the locker room. There is, between Brady, Belichick, and Bob Kraft, you're seeing the coordinators starting saying, "Hey, we're out of here."
Right.
Will that affect Tom Brady? Here's the bigger question: will Tom Brady be there next year, or do the Patriots see their window and say, "Hey, we can get what we can for Brady and set up for the next round and reload," as opposed to rebuilding whenever he's done? Because once he's done, dude, look out, because they're going to be bottom feeders for the next 10, 20 years.
Oh yeah, you're right. I can't see Brady playing. Can you see Brady playing somewhere else? I mean, I just don't. I can't see it happening.
Imagine,
almost be like,
imagine if he was in a Browns uniform. Just that.
Oh, he would stink. He would stink. He would stink. That's the Browns' luck. They'd sign Tom Brady, and the world would be solved, and everybody'd be happy, and they'd go 0-16 with Tom Brady. That's how bad the Browns are. It's not. I'm telling you, something there, something in the water in Lake Erie there. I don't know. It's crazy.
If you're Cleveland and you give up everything, imagine. I mean, you don't really have to give up the world for Tom Brady at this point in his career, because he's only got, I would say, now I know he says he wants to play till he's 46. Sorry, dude, there's no way. You're going to get your AARP card, by the time you're hanging up the cleats. There's no way. There's just no way.
Right.
And you can take care of it. You can eat as many, protein shakes and veggie shakes and juice, diets, as many as you want, but you're never going to beat Father Time. And you can see him slowing down as is. And I know the stats don't back me up on that, but the eye test doesn't really check out with Tom Brady this year. If you really look at it, I mean, you saw him when he played against Jacksonville, and granted, they are a great defense. But even with Kansas City, I mean, the eye test, he's not passing the eye test. He's getting the stats.
Right.
But it's kind of like when you saw Peyton Manning.
How old is Brady? How old is he?
40.
40. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not a professional athlete, but I'm going to be 36 next week, and I don't wake up. So I can only imagine how Tom Brady feels when he gets up in the morning. So, I mean, yeah, the guy's getting old. I mean, he's still got it. I don't care. They'll work the offense around, what he can do. He's still Tom Brady. He's got ice in his veins. I mean, the guy, it just don't matter. He's just good. I mean, he's just that good. He's just a winner. The guy wins. So, like we said, he's done it with so many different people. Him and Belichick. And you talk about the coordinators leaving. The coordinators have left for the last 15 years that Brady's been there, the in and out. McDaniels, he's there now, but he left before, didn't he? He went to Denver and then came back. And I mean, listen, it don't matter. Brady and Belichick. The thought that the owner of the Patriots would even want to mess with that until it's needed to be messed with is just, it's crazy to me. It's a media ploy, and what they're doing is they're taking the Eagles, and the Eagles guards going down, and they're like, oh, look at the Patriots, they got all this drama, and we're gonna go in there, and you know what, Patriots are gonna come in and probably smoke the Eagles in the big game. So I don't know, but I just read here that somebody put a multi-million-dollar bet down on the Eagles in Vegas. In the
don't count them out.
They still kept the line where it is. I know.
When they beat Jacksonville, and they were down to Jacksonville pretty decent at halftime or right before halftime, whatever that was. I said to my buddy, hey man, look out, because the underdog card, Jacksonville plays it really well, Philadelphia plays it really, really well, and the issue is going to be with the Patriots is they were there last year. The grand majority of their team were there last year, and I understand that some people see that as an advantage, but some people see it as, you know what I mean? It's just another game.
Right.
And if there is turmoil in that locker room, and you see it, and I'll be honest, I'm a huge James Harrison guy, have been for a long time. He's going to want it, but it's one of those things where there is, 52, 53 underdogs on the other sideline saying, well, we're not wearing white jerseys, so we're not favored in this game. They want it, man. They want it, and there's nobody in this world that wants this more than the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Foles. You want to talk about a payday for this guy? This guy has an opportunity to take it to the next level and say, hey, I'm going to be able to not only, provide for my family for the rest of my life with this next contract if he's a Super Bowl champion and takes his team through the playoffs, but his kids' family, his kids' family, and so on and so forth. Nick Foles has a real chance to be a game changer here, and I'm really excited to see it if he shows up in this game. If he can go – now, hear me out. I know you're a Tom Brady guy, but if Blake Bortles can go tick for tat with Tom Brady and Nick Foles is just a little bit – in my eyes, he's a little bit better. I give him a little bit more credibility. I think that defense stands stronger than Jacksonville. They're a little bit more matured. But I think that the offense for Philadelphia shows up, and they showed it. Man, did they ever show it against Minnesota in the NFC?
Yeah, Minnesota, and Minnesota's a top 10, top 5 defense in the NFL. So you're right. So Nick Foles will be a free agent after he wins the Super Bowl, or if he wins the Super Bowl, right? He's a free agent, right?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. So here's what's going to happen.
Okay. Oh, I'm ready.
So let's say Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Right? The Browns are going to sign him.
No, don't do that to him.
I'm just telling you, that's the way it works. And then he'll go to Cleveland and he'll stick. The way it works. I mean, sorry. Sorry, Browns fans.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
Well, you just got them all excited. I mean, now they have a reason to watch this. Well, the big game, and essentially, now they say, "Oh, let's go get Nick Foles. Let's go get Nick Foles." But reality says that if this dude wins the championship, I mean, Carson Wentz is your future, and I apologize.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But I mean, he's got the brightest future in the NFL. But
you need to get a Tim Hortons iced tea to wet your throat.
I got this beautiful Starbucks coffee, but hey, that's from another life. But Nick Foles, the biggest thing for the Eagles is same kind of position as the Vikings a little bit, but the Vikings actually have a decision to make. The Eagles, if you go away from Carson Wentz, you deserve to be the Browns. You absolutely deserve it, because Carson Wentz is the future of the entire, not just the Eagles or the franchise, but the entire NFL. You're going to look back in 5 years and say, wow, Carson Wentz is the guy. Like Tom Brady, who?
Yeah, he is the Tom Brady, right?
Who? I mean,
you believe that? You believe that, huh?
I do. Carson Wentz, he's
that good.
Barring injury, because I mean, obviously Brady went through it too. So did Peyton Manning. Imagine if those guys don't get injured. You know what? The year that Brady went down, and I might be wrong, so our viewers can challenge me on this one, but I believe they went right down the pooper. They were pretty rough. They certainly weren't as good. I can say that.
No, they made. I think they made the playoffs. They
Was it
did
Jimmy
with
G?
Matt Castle. With
Matt
Matt
Castle,
Castle.
that it was.
Yeah, yeah. And then which Matt Castle ended up getting a contract after that, and then he stunk.
Yeah, Castle got paid. Was that the Vikings again?
Might have been the Vikings.
Okay,
It's a
I
good
remember
question.
Castle. Yeah, I remember Castle being in a Vikings uniform.
Or
I
did
just
he go
couldn't
to
remember.
Kansas City?
I don't
Can't
know.
remember.
We'll have to look that up. But I'll check that out. But
Write that down. We'll get that for you.
Yeah, we'll get that. But I mean, excuse me. The biggest thing is Nick Foles has a chance to make a lot of money. He's got a chance to make a lot.
Oh yeah,
of
he's going to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess regardless.
Get paid.
But I mean, if he goes in the big game and chokes, he's going to get paid a lot less, and he'll probably end up staying with Philly.
I think your next Tom Brady is the guy who just stayed under Tom Brady and then left, Jimmy GQ.
Jimmy
GQ.
Dude, how do you not love that guy? How do you not love that guy?
Oh, yeah. He even, I don't know. It just seems like you're watching Tom Brady when he plays. I mean, he's got good poise in the pocket. He's got a strong arm. He just commands the offense. I mean, I feel like if there's another Tom Brady out there, it's probably the guy that Tom Brady mentored. So we'll see. Jimmy GQ, Carson Wentz. There's a lot of young talent out there. Deshaun Watson. Injuries are probably going to keep him away from being, an elite quarterback. He's going to have to change his style, but he looked pretty darn good for 5 or 6 games that he played in Houston. So we'll see. And a lot of people were down on Watson, thinking he wasn't going to be, quarterback NFL ready. So
well, and we'll not to even give somebody credit before they're due. But who's that? The guy is it Mahomes out in Kansas City who's just kind of waiting?
For Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he looked good too.
I think his time's coming, my friend. His time is coming.
He's got a rocket arm too. I mean, a rocket arm.
Here's my, and I'll give you a chance to rebut this, but I think this is what happens. Alex Smith is out in Kansas City. Cleveland goes after Alex Smith because Kansas City is pretty high on Mahomes right now. They really are. I mean, you can read rumors on Twitter because Alex Smith obviously didn't do anything to lose the games necessarily for Kansas City this year, but he didn't exactly win them either. And you can talk to fans, and they'll tell you the same.
Alex Smith is the best game managing quarterback in the NFL, but he's not going to go out and win you a big game. No,
I'm with you. Okay, so it's Matt Castle spent 4 years in New England, 4 years in Kansas City, and then 2 years in Minnesota. Then he went to Buffalo, Dallas, Tennessee, and I think that's where he is right now, Tennessee. So yeah, good call on Kansas City, man. That's huge, and that's just how it works. Nick Foles is going to get paid by the Eagles or somebody else, but I don't see the Eagles, throwing out millions and millions of dollars a year for a backup quarterback.
No, if he went to Super Bowl, he's gonna get paid. Yeah, and absolutely. I think when Castle left New England, I don't know if we can find the numbers on this, but he got paid in Kansas City. Paid.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up what he did. I mean, but his numbers dropped significantly. Matt Castle. I mean, his completion percent from his last year in New England went from 63.4% down to 55 in Kansas City. Touchdowns didn't go down as much. I mean, it was from 21 in New England to 16, and then the next year he went out and chucked up 27 touchdowns. So 2010 was a pretty favorable year for Matt Castle, and he made the Pro Bowl that year. But then it was right back down to reality because then he went to 10 touchdowns, and then in 2012, 6 touchdowns. So he got paid, and they got a couple years out of him. And really in the NFL, that's once you're on tape, you're on tape, and defensive coordinators and schemes are based around you. So hats off to
tape don't lie.
Yeah, that's it. The eye in the sky don't lie, baby. All right, so that's our regional coverage. I guess that's part of our national coverage. Let's cap off our inaugural show here, Peasy, with what we saw last night. We both huge, adamant wrestling fans. I got a huge title belt over there. My wife bought for me for my 30th birthday. We'll take the tour sometime. But dude.
Yeah, the Yoakley Man Cave looks like it's pretty nice there, huh?
It's popping. I mean, it's one of those things where I really enjoyed it. I put a lot of time and effort into it. A lot of people, contributed to it. But yeah, like,
are those baseball bats going up your stairway?
they sure are, man. The baseball bat spindles.
Homie, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
We got the baseballs. They're actually covered right now, but yeah, it's me. You know what I mean? We got featured on a couple things on the Pirate game one time. It was pretty cool. We were on Mikey and Big Bob whenever we first debuted it. So yeah, this is the Man Cave. This is my pride and joy for now. And I'm sure
I like it.
Once we have kids, it'll turn into Kid Cave, I'm sure. And those baseball bats will turn into something probably more kid friendly and kid safe. But for now, it's me, baby.
It is what it is, right? And that's it. I'll try to get a better background for us as we move forward. I'm on the fly here today in the flooring store. So
hey, we're shoestring budget right now. You know what I mean?
That's it. Hey, I feel you.
We're here for the people. We're here for the people. So all right, everybody. I mean, we had Rocky and Greg last night. They did a great preview show for the Royal Rumble. We gave picks. The Royal Rumble came and it went.
Did anybody pick right?
No. Well, I mean, there was a couple here and there. But a lot of, I mean, I'm not going to say there's cheaters amongst us, but I'm going to say that there's a lot of rumor mongers that go.
Oh yeah, they're reading the dirt sheets, baby. Yeah, that's right.
Reading those dirt sheets. But dude, the Rumble came and it went, and we had a quick discussion about it this morning. But I was talking to Rocky a little bit about it. I talked to our YSN Wellsville correspondent, Michael Reiner. We're all, the one thing that we all have in common is we're all big professional wrestling fans. Dude, the Rumble, to me, huge disappointment. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think, and you know what I think that'd be. Can I say WWE on here? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah. You're good.
Okay, all right. I didn't. WWE. I think they knew that the men's Royal Rumble was going to be a disappointment, as they put it early in the show, which was weird. But yeah, it was. The Rumble's always exciting as a wrestling fan, but it was a little disappointing. No huge surprises. I thought we'd get a little Undertaker, maybe set up a little Cena Undertaker WrestleMania match. That didn't happen. I thought maybe Daniel Bryan. I don't know. I thought something crazy would happen, but nothing did. It was kind of a mundane Royal Rumble, and I thought Nakamura was going to win, and he did. So
I don't know. Here's my whole take on it. It was just like, you're always waiting, and obviously everybody. Philadelphia. First off, the MVP last night was Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They always do an awesome job on the crowd. That crowd was on fire. And
besides Toronto, Canada, I feel that there's Philadelphia, Chicago, and Toronto. I mean, those places go nuts, crowd-wise.
Chicago hasn't been the same since Punk left. And
no, they're hurt.
Their
feelings are hurt.
They still have hurt feelings every time WWE comes into town, because you still hear the CM Punk chants, which are fine. That's great.
Yeah,
but I
love CM Punk.
I think he's just a little bit overrated. I really do. I thought he was overrated. Yeah, just because. Yeah. And I'm not a Vince McMahon guy. Like, you don't have to have the body. You don't have to be able to deadlift 9,000 pounds to be a world champion. But I think, last night essentially was the first night I've seen a really good heavyweight fight between the big boys, with Kane and Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. And man, did you see that knee that Strowman laid on Lesnar? That was, if you want to say professional wrestling's fake, that's fine. I'm with you. It's choreographed. But Lesnar got popped last night, and he got pissed, stood up, and laid a right hand right on Braun Strowman that left him kind of like, okay, you're my daddy. You know what I mean? Right.
Well, yeah, that was big. That match was awesome. I mean, slow pace for me, but you got three monster guys like that in the ring together. It just it made for sports entertainment. I thought it was legit. I hate where WWE is heading. I can tell you right now, the writing's on the wall. They're trying to set up Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania, and it's going to get pooped on.
Yeah, I'm with you.
By fans, I'm telling you.
Those New Orleans fans are pretty good too. I mean, the last time I think last time WrestleMania was in New Orleans was the
in the Silver Dome. You remember that?
Silver Dome.
Silver Dome.
brother, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Brother.
Here in the silver dome. But it was when Daniel Bryan blew the roof off the place. And I think that was, I mean, a lot of it had to do with Paul Levesque and Stephanie McMahon and saying, hey, here's our opportunity. We keep screwing up. I mean, how many times did it take, for them to actually let Reigns win the Royal Rumble? And by the time he won it, he wasn't over anymore. People hated him.
Right.
And he's slowly turning into the John Cena. I mean, I guess not slowly. He is the John Cena of, who's going to be the next guy who carries the torch for the WWE, but I don't think it's the right guy. I know he says
they want it to be him, but I don't know if it is him. Styles is the guy right now, man.
Oh my gosh.
I think.
Well, here's the thing, and they had a chance to really, really embrace Styles, Jericho. He's had an unbelievable resurrection of his career. I hated Jericho. I despise that guy. But you know what? I now love the heck out of him because of what he's reinvented himself as, and he's doing it, and he puts people over all the time too. And what he's doing with Kenny Omega over in New Japan is really incredible. The fact that Vince let him go and take his moniker with him was really kind of a head scratcher to me, because that's something that Vinnie Mac usually doesn't do. But the fact that he didn't even show up for the Rumble last night, he was he was on the 25th anniversary show of Raw on Monday. He wasn't on the actual card. I mean, he didn't have to be on the card, but a few more surprises than just Rey Mysterio would have been nice last night.
Right. Yeah, the Rey Mysterio one was cool, though. I like that. It's different. I wonder if he signed. Does he sign? Is that a one-night thing only, you think? He looked great.
He did look great. He looked fantastic. And the big thing for me is they're looking for that 205 Live GM, and I think that's where they kind of weave him into, because then they can have a fighting general manager like they always want. Kurt Angle. Obviously, there's going to be a big play for Kurt Angle on Raw. We're still holding out hope for Daniel Bryan for SmackDown.
I'm really hoping that happens. But
I mean, that'd be huge.
I don't know.
But I mean, Brie wasn't supposed to fight anymore either. And she came out and she did her thing last night. And I mean, the pop that she got was incredible. But the women's Rumble was cool. And I by far do not want to come off sexist here. It was cool, but it wasn't main event cool. It wasn't. I don't think that it needed to be. It was featured enough, and it was cool enough that it was the first ever time, but it didn't need to be the main event.
I agree. It was the first time, so I think that's why they wanted to make a big deal about it, put it as the main event. But I agree, it should have been flip flop. The guy should have been. Come on, it's the Royal Rumble.
because you build up the hype around the Royal Rumble, and you can get everybody kind of like an appetizer with the women's Royal Rumble, and I think they would have got a lot better reception with it. But you and I talked before, dude, what the hell was that Ronda Rousey? Like, why not put her in the actual match? If nothing else, just to blow the roof off that place, waiting till after the match, Charlotte's in the ring.
It was weird. Bliss. It was just weird to me. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I get that they wanted to debut her, and the dirt sheets, pretty much said it was coming. So when number 30 came out and it wasn't her, I was like, huh, that's weird. But they did it anyway. They brought her out after the match, and they did that weird, the point to WrestleMania sign, and it was just, I don't know. It was weird. It's just weird to me. But maybe we'll find out more tonight or Tuesday, depending on.
You got to think she's Raw. You got to think she's Raw. I mean, the fact that she went down and shook Stephanie McMahon's hand, and Stephanie had no idea why she was there. But the thing was, they alluded to it the entire night. I mean, they had those backstage things, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, it's going to be a night to remember." And then
right.
Stephanie McMahon, there's no idea that Ronda Rousey's. The one cool thing that came from that, and Rocky, our YSN correspondent, and our content director here at YSN, told me after, it was the jacket she was wearing, the leather jacket. She came out, and I was like, dude, is she wearing her dad's jacket, or what's going on here? It was Roddy Piper's, and Roddy Piper's kid gave it to Ronda, right before she went out. So that was a pretty cool moment.
Actually, I read something this morning that said that Roddy Piper's son actually is okaying her to use basically everything,
the hot rod,
the hot rod shred, the rowdy Ronda Rousey, which is, trademark Roddy Piper. So yeah, rowdy Ronda Rousey, WWE, crazy.
For the next couple of years. And that's what cool.
Yeah, 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Lesnar-esque run where, you have an invisible champion essentially until the pay-per-views. It's going to be, she's going to be around. And she did, I guess they did canned interviews with her leading up to this point. I don't know if it was ESPN or who it was, but I saw it on Facebook this morning. And it essentially, she said, no, this is it. This is it for me for the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's her life. She's saying, yeah, she's all in. Yeah. It's crazy.
So, that is nuts. And she loves it. She absolutely loves it. She says she wants to bring over Dana White and get him a chance to catch the bug that WWE is. But here's the thing, what it boils down to, man, and I think you and I both know it. With the XFL coming, Vinnie Mac says he's not going to step away from the WWE. He's going to do everything. I saw that. Did you stay up and watch that 24 WWE 24 last night?
I watched a little bit of it and then I faded away. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Orlando WrestleMania 24 Orlando.
Dude, he looked rough. He looked really rough. There was a segment in the show where he and Seth Rollins, after the match that Seth had with Triple H, he hugged Seth, and then there was another segment where he after John Cena proposed to Nikki Bella, he stood up and he didn't look good. Like the other night on Raw 25, he looked okay, but I think that's like when you step out in front of the crowd, the adrenaline takes over and you kind of like.
Right.
But
right,
man, backstage, he was looking rough. He looked his age, and I think he's like 70, 72, something like that.
Yeah, and he's getting old, and plus the guy don't sleep.
Yeah,
they say it's like 3 hours of sleep a day, like 2:30 to 5:30, 2:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the morning.
No, trust me, man. I sit here as doing what we're doing with YSN. I completely get where he's coming from. He's on a much bigger scale than we are, but I can tell you that owning any business, and you know this too, owning any business takes 100% of what you're able to give. And with him having the XFL, with him having WWE, with him having so many more things that he's a part of, I think, and it's probably well overdue. I think it's time that you give over the keys to the castle to, as CM Punk would say, your doofus son-in-law, or as I would say. As I would say,
the pipe bomb.
Yeah, the pipe bomb
that made him famous, right there.
Triple H, what he's doing with NXT is incredible, and I think that you give him the keys to the castle. You let him run the show up at where the big boys play, not WCW but WWE, and I think you're going to do incredible things. I think the biggest issue right now is the fact that they want this demographic of really, really young kids. To be the main demographic, and you get the PG rating, and it's not doing. I mean, you get what you put in, and the PG rating. Yeah, you get a lot more youth medium T-shirt sales, but you get more. I guess the casual fan, but is that who you really want? And I think once Triple H does get it, I think it comes back. They
want numbers. I mean, my daughter's 8 years old and she loves wrestling and she watches, she gets mad when I say the divas are on. Like she said, no, it's women's wrestling. It's great. She watches the divas, she watches the Bellas, she watches the wrestling, she watches the Raw, and she watches it all. And she's 8 years old, so that's a demographic I feel like they're shooting for, like you said, but it sucks for us adults who still love the product because.
Oh man, it's so watered down. It really is. Like when you got. I mean, obviously, I don't want them to kill each other. I don't. It's not what I'm asking for. I'm just asking for a little bit better, a little bit more creativity. And I've heard both sides of the argument where they say that there takes more creativity to be a PG show than it does just going out and crotch chopping and the women showing whatever they have to show to draw ratings.
Right.
But I mean, I think women's wrestling is really good. I enjoy it, and I never thought I'd say it.
I mean, it's a big time improvement from what it once was, what it used to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Trish
The
Stratus.
storylines are better. The talent's probably a little deeper than what it has been. I mean, my gosh, there was 20 of the 30 participant roster women's. I mean, normally wrestling was a 3, 4, 5 women on the roster, if that, total that actually wrestled. And then over the last 5, 6, 7 years, you've seen it explode. So, and they're drawing in a demographic that they probably never had, 8, 9-year-old, 10-year-old girls, whatever. So they're pushing it for a reason, and it has to do with money.
Well,
so
absolutely. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Mr. McMahon's wife is, a political figure now too. So they don't want to associate Linda McMahon with, the days of DX and the Attitude Era, if you will.
Right. Chauvinistic.
Yeah.
They don't want a chauvinistic product.
Yeah. So, well, dude, what's your grade for the Rumble overall last night?
I don't know. I'll give it a B minus. B minus.
I was gonna go
just because it's the Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the same neighborhood, so I gave it a little bit harsher grade because I thought there were certain portions of it that really, really stunk. But I think that Nakamura winning, Asuka winning the female one, I wasn't too thrilled with because then you have the Japanese Royal Rumble. Like I think they could have staggered it a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, it's PR. It's PR for them, and they thought, and all, what they said on Twitter and on all their social media channels is they really enjoyed it. But it
comes down to $9.99 a month.
That's it, man. That's it. And I think
they get, and with Nakamura and Osaka winning, or Asuka, I always call her Asuka winning. It's going to lead to more $9.99 a month.
Here's my biggest
buy the stock. It's a good stock. I'm telling you, you know what? It's a good stock to buy.
Oh, it is.
Pays a good dividend. I'm telling you, and it's going to grow. Look at Netflix.
Yeah,
WWE Network is there. I'm telling you, they're going to get there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think the biggest thing that I have, the issue I have with the WWE Network, is I've been a subscriber since day one. It's since day one. But
save me a ton of money.
Yeah, but the benefits for everybody else canceling is they get a free month every year. You know what I mean? We're still, and I'm not complaining over the $9.99 or $12 somehow. Triple H, I'm looking at you. But dude, like they cater to getting their people back. You know what I mean? So they come back for a free month and they cancel again, and then they come back for a free month 3 months later and they cancel again. Where you have, maybe it's just me as a salesperson, as an owner of a business, but I would rather cater to the people that are loyal subscribers and loyal viewers and give them something free. So like packages, like if you do the year package, it's only $100 or whatever it is. Because I think they probably get more trigger pulls on that, if you will.
Yeah, I was so excited when it first came out because I was the guy who would, get the pay-per-view every single month and pay $54.99 on my cable. So when that package came out, I was super stoked. But yeah, I agree. Now, if you cancel and then you try to come back on for free month for a new subscriber, you can't use your same email.
You can.
I would imagine they got to have something.
You can, but you have to essentially wait 3 months. I think it is. My friend does it all the time, and he's like, "Whoa, I'm only paying, a quarter of it."
Here he's paid 6 months out here.
Yeah, and I tell him he's a loser, and I'm like, dude,
right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put that much effort into canceling your WWE subscription, maybe you should put that much more effort into your resume so you can just pay for it through the entire year. But
that was a good one.
But it all comes down to like catering to your fan base, and I think WWE has done an okay job. Like I think the AJ Styles pickup, and I think Triple H is doing. I guess the WWE as a whole is doing a great job of signing people. But the single fact that
glorious,
dude, not Rick Rude, Bobby Roode going through
Bobby Roode,
but
awesome.
Dude, like they all have to go through NXT, and then it's like a waiting game. So like the EC3 signing they had this week would have been awesome to debut him at the Rumble, but now it's like confirmed that every single person of the majority, I guess, have to go through the NXT program and just kind of like WWE eyes themselves. before they're actually
Right.
on the main roster, which is weird to me because you got Bobby Roode, who's I think, is he 40?
Yeah, he's got to be. Styles is 40, so I think him and Styles are about that same age group. Yeah, it's just that WWE is so much more than just a wrestling product now. That's the problem. That it's a media conglomerate. So therefore, there's so much behind the scenes training and stuff like that has to go on to get these ready for the mainstream Raw, SmackDown atmosphere and everything else that's going to go on behind the scenes that they got to get ready for. I mean, TNA, we could run that out of a garage, really. I mean, it's this WWE is they're the leader. I mean, there's nobody that runs the product like they do. I mean, Vince is the man, so he's gonna make sure that when you come on board, you're gonna do things the WWE way, and I think that's why they do that. So
it's smart. I mean, it's branding. It's being able to. I mean, it keeps the blood flowing through NXT, the minor leagues, they say. But I think NXT right now is a better product, and I think because Triple H does it, and he completes his storylines as opposed to stops them. And I know injuries have been a real bad problem here, and the rash of injuries that they had with Ambrose and people of that nature have been a problem with WWE. But I think there's ways to stop that too, and none of them have to do with Seth Rollins. I know he gets a bad rap for the injuries.
Last night, did you see the curb stomp last night?
Oh,
did you see that?
It's back, man. It's back. The curb stomp's back.
It's back.
Well, I think Triple H finally got pissed that he's pedigreeing everybody and taking his move.
Yeah, and said that's it. Get the move back.
Yeah, take your move. Because there was some. Yes, go ahead.
Real quick, Jason Bateman, or is it Jason? Is it what is his real name? Jason Bateman. I think that's his name.
So, yeah.
EC3. He's actually married to a girl from East Liverpool.
What?
FYI. True story. Yep.
Oh, you know what that means? He might be on the burrito at some time. Can you imagine that?
We could get him on. That'd be great.
It'd be good if
put him on my leather couch here.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could get a nice video feed with each other first. But we'll work on that. All that and more. We got a great show coming up for you tomorrow as well. We're working on some guests for us. Dude, for all intents and purposes, I know I've said that a few times. That's kind of like my go-to word right now. But dude, not a bad show. Not a bad first show. Just kind of throwing it together here in the cave and at your store. So we'll continue to strive and get better. And here on YSN, where the big boys play. I think it's all going to be about the fans and if there's something you guys want to talk about, and eventually I'd like to get a call-in opportunity so people can call in or chime in from their video feeds and check in on the chat and things of that nature. But dude, heck of a first show. We covered the gauntlet there of local, regional, and national. Tomorrow we'll have some Potters news with basketball wise. You have a hell of a call tonight. We'll have some more news about the big game. Boomer's going to be our advocate here. I think he's got to go outside, but he's going to be our advocate.
Come on, Dad, let's go. I got to go. Literally, I got to go.
We'll have some Penn stuff to talk about, hockey, and much, much more. So stay with us on the burrito. Get your fill every morning here, Monday through Friday, with Yoke and Peas, and we'll be back tomorrow to bring you some more. So thanks for joining us here for the inaugural, and we'll be back tomorrow. Peas, got anything?
Yep, I'm out. We'll see you,
buddy.
All right,
brother. Sell some flooring.
Right.
I'll go sell some mattresses. We'll do the thing. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, go Potters.